This is Velo Stewart, writer, actor, producer, director, DJ. He has a great love and appreciation for filmmaking. This is Q Nice, poet, actor, producer, director, music, curating specialist. He has a great love and appreciation for music. So what do you get when you put the two of these guys together? You get a very special event called Music and Movies on the Zoom platform this Friday. Start time is 8:08 p.m. Pacific Standard. Join Music and Movies and say hello to the rest of the crew. Say hello to Gwen, Carmen, Clarence, and Fred. So put on your dancing shoes and get ready to pop the popcorn from Music and Movies on the Zoom platform. Sponsored by TrillVision and the Quentin Findlay Collection.
Is it vegan?
Welcome to another special edition of Music and Movies. I am your co-host. My name is Q Nice. We also have Gwen Mall here with us and Velo Stewart, who are my partners in crimes. And we have our special guests who are here. The name of the film is called Whirlwind. And we have some very, very, very special guests who are with us right now. We would like for them, if they would please introduce themselves. Let's start with ladies first, of course, if you would please, and thank you.
My name is Synead Nichols, and I am the singer, songwriter and performer of Whirlwind.
Hi, I'm Damani Pompey. I'm the director of Whirlwind, and I am a movement director, choreographer, and I created the vision and storyboard for Whirlwind.
Nice, wonderful. Wonderful to have you guys here. Thank you so much for this exclusive interview. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
My first question I'd like to start off with this whole thing is with this film, the concept, the idea. How did it all start?
I'll let you go, Damani. You can go ahead.
Damani.
So basically, me and Synead and I, we were reconnecting as friends and family because, you know, we were both finding our paths aligning in terms of where we were at in our careers as artists, what we were doing financially to make money, and like trying to balance the two and seeing what truly was important for our lives at the moment. And at the height of Black Lives Matter and at the pandemic, you know, we had a lot of time and space to reconnect and talk. And you know, Synead is someone I've always appreciated. You know, we've known each other since high school, right. And our paths separated and then reconnected and connected. But this time we were kind of speaking the same language, and we were like, what are we doing? Like, what should we be doing? And like, we don't want to create art with people who don't serve the bigger vision or the larger picture at hand. Right. We no longer create art for art's sake. We no longer wanted to create art for entertainment purposes. And, you know, we were both, you know, doing other things besides the one thing we were taught, which was dance. Right. And, you know, she does music, she models, she writes, she paints. You know, I'm a lighting designer, I choreograph, I teach, and now I've been delving into direction. And so.
Come on, y'all, with the talents. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to apologize for in the past because people would misunderstand that and gaslight us and be like, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that, when it's just like, no, these things are a part of us, so like, why not bring it into one thing?
Right. And it was a real opportunity for us too to really, you know, go back to that, you know, imagery. You know, we're talking about this concept, you know, we're tired of seeing Black bodies specifically being exterminated. Like, I mean, as flat out as you can put it. I was tired of seeing Black bodies and Blackness itself being lit up like a flame in the worst way possible. And so when we came together for this, what we ultimately really, really wanted to portray was a moment of healing, a moment of beauty, a moment of resilience, without it having to come from a place of, you know, depravity, really. And so with all of that, and with, you know, our kind of paths kind of, like you said, disconnecting and reconnecting again, we were talking the same language. We wanted to impact our communities the same way. So this was a really, really fortunate and very, very lucky opportunity for us to use that and say, hey, we don't have to always be imagined this way at all. So, you know, what does the reimagining of it look like? And it's very simple, but, you know, an opportunity to heal, really.
Wonderful, and kudos to the both of you.
Thank you.
A question for you. How long did it take you to start this project from beginning to the end?
Okay, music-wise, I wrote this song with a few other people, Matthew, Matt FX, and Corey Cambridge were also, sorry, not Corey Cambridge, Matthew FX and Ali Channon and Emmett Kai were the writers for this particular song. We wrote this song in 2019.
Yeah.
2018, actually. No, we wrote it in 2018, I think, and then put it out in 2019.
Yeah.
And then we got the video imagined in August 2020, and then really got it done in September of 2020, and then put it out in October.
Okay.
And so this song has been in the ethers for a period of time already, but
Right.
you know, I think people are just so used to seeing, all right, you have the song, now you have the video, now you have this. Like, please do not bother me with your linear thinking. That is not for me. I don't subscribe to that. And I'm not on anyone's timeline. None of us are on anyone's timeline. Where we want to put out the art as it fits and as it needs to be received. So it's 3 years, if you will, 2 years. Oh.
Yeah. And shooting it, it took 2 weekends and 1 day.
Right. So it's a total of almost a week's worth. Yeah.
Right.
And I like what you said about the non-linear, and it's like sometimes people are too soon with they drop music or drop a film or an idea out there, and it's like it's too early, and then they're walking around town saying, I had that idea when, you know, Beyonce does it, and it's like, dude, it was too
Right.
You know. So I like what you're saying, is you may have it for a while, and it may take a couple of years, but like dropping it right when it's time, you know, it's I like that. That's
such a hard concept for me too, as an artist, and as someone who's always like, who's just kind of used to the instant gratification that we've all been socialized to accept now. I remember complaining about putting this song out, like, why haven't we put it out in 2018? What the hell is taking so long? Why? What? You know what? I don't even want to put this out anymore. I remember having this conversation, and my friends used to just really tell me, relax, relax. And so now, in this time, I'm like, all right, I see why we had to wait, because we needed to wait. It had to come out right when it needed to. I get it. Cool. Everything takes time. A process.
Absolutely.
I hate the process.
I mean, but that it probably also gives you some reassurance that your music is timeless, and the whole situation, it doesn't just stick and stay in this particular time frame, you know?
Absolutely. And I think that's been the most exciting thing about it.
Yeah.
We've been able to come back to this thing, to Whirlwind, and you know, people kind of are now hitting me up like, hey, can I use this song for this thing or for this? And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, I'm around, I'm still here.
Absolutely. Is there anything that you could say to your younger artistic self? Is there any advice that you would give yourselves now?
The advice, I'm gonna go Damani and then you go, okay? The advice I would give to myself wholeheartedly and just full transparency, focus on yourself and literally not the boys. Yeah. Because under patriarchy and under these patriarchal standards that I've, you know, had to acclimate myself to, you know, and you know, the rest of us have had to acclimate to. It's just not conducive for the world that I'm trying to build and the world I'm trying to create. The way we have all been forced to deal with patriarchy, and in terms of, you know, sex, you know, gender, racial disparities, all of these things stem from that. And I really wish I had it in my heart and in my spirit to say, I don't know what you guys are trying to tell me about love. I don't know what you guys are trying to tell me about relationships. Relationships are communication, not do you own me and who owns who. Now I know. And so I'm in that pocket. Okay, I'm over there.
Yes.
For myself, I would say it would be to trust instinct, to continue to ask the questions, but don't be in fear of repercussions or punishment
Mm-hmm.
my institutions, because, you know, things just didn't make sense to me. I just felt like
Agreed.
we were being old and being like, it was just regurgitated. It didn't fit my body. It didn't fit my soul. And when I did speak up, I got punished. And then I wrapped myself up in that. And then I had like this whole experience. So that would be the one. And then the second thing would be to tell me that it's okay to learn from women. I really, this idea of women still fighting for rights or visibility or power is annoying to me, because it's so obvious why men are scared and two-dimensional in their thinking about women and men and strength and versus intuition, because like we all came through a woman at one point, you know what I mean? Through
Right.
the definitely divine feminine energy, and there's so much intricate information. It's like most of the things we're missing in terms of communication and embodiment is all in the transitions of things. It's not set idea A, set idea in between ideas, and that's why that's why we are at the moment we are at now in terms
Absolutely.
of
You know,
gender, life.
Right.
Damani, the what you said, if you notice all of our energy in this room right now, we just what he said, you know, it's so fitting and it's so right and it's true, and it's, as we say, facts. It is what it is, most definitely. Damani, I want to stay with you for a second, and then I want to slide over to Synead. Am I saying it right?
Synead. Yeah,
Synead.
Damani and Synead.
Damani.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damani.
Damani.
Yes.
I want to start with Damani and then go to Synead. If there was one word that could describe you, what would it be?
Oh, I would say visionary.
Mm-hmm.
Only not in the sense of like I have vision or I've acquired vision. I think it's on the broader sense of just understanding the power of seeing and then making.
Mm-hmm.
We're kept away from in education and in everyday living, you know, just like bridging gaps that like gaps exist on purpose, and the missing thing is the bridge, and not waiting for someone to give you that bridge is
Right.
You know what I mean? You build your bridge, you build your mental escape, or you build your mental journey, you know, to get the next place. So yeah, I'd say that's the word I kind of would be feeling right now, would be visionary.
Okay, come on, Vision. I think the word I am relating to the most right now is warrior. I'm in a space where I'm just not allowing or tolerating anything that's below what we know we can give. I am literally demanding the best. If you're not going to give it to me, I don't want to see you in my community. I don't want to hear from you. You can kindly remove yourself, because we're in a state in society right now where we need to be fighting. And I say that emphatically because it is a fight. It is a fight, I hate to say war, but that's what it is. It is a war against a frame of mind. And I'm really, really trying to encourage people, you know, along with humans like Damani, to require the best of yourself. It's hard. It's hard when you have the whole world telling you you aren't the best thing that's ever happened to the world. It's hard when you have people around you who don't even believe in their own strength and their own intuition, as Damani was saying. But luckily enough, I feel like I've been very fortunate to have been placed in such beautiful, you know, trying circumstances, but beautiful nonetheless, because I've learned from them, and I've learned the type of person and the type of people we need. I'm very fierce with my community. And so in order to push for the world that I want to see, that means I too must be fierce. So warrior is my word.
Nice. As now, can we transition to the film festival, the Conch International Film Festival? Why do you think this festival is important? And kind of what are your hopes from having your film in this first year of this festival?
Tamani, you want to go first, or?
I can go first.
Yeah, go.
So, you know, I think when I heard we got this, I was like super ecstatic because I have just started applying to festivals as of last year, and this sort of festival, and specifically Caribbean and Caribbean diaspora, like has never come across my radar, and it's a part of my identity that I've only just met again as I've become Americanized generation. And you know, I recently went back to St. Vincent to bury my grandmother. She was the poet laureate of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I just saw a whole new aspect of life there. And I was like, oh, like I forgot almost that I had this whole lineage and this strength and this peace, which doesn't exist in my life in America. You know, I think this is important because it's like a reconnection to self and identity, support, because like at the end of the day, I have to check a box that says African American, but I am technically Caribbean American, and there is a distinct difference because Caribbean Americans don't have the same trauma that African Americans do. You know what I mean? There's a certain rage on their backs. They've been here for generations on generations, and that's something that I've had to learn. I was like, why are my friends so angry? Or like, why don't I identify with them? Like, I was good with them. Like there was just something missing, and it was just like, oh, the history and my origin. Like, you know, like I grew up on the island for 2 years and then I came here, you know? So it's like, I just think it's like really important to carve out the space for us to just like articulate, because we're all a part of the same history, African American or Caribbean American, but to just really make a niche, like open conversation about what we're experiencing here in America, our emotions and feelings about it, and what we've done to alchemize ourselves and acclimate ourselves to this culture, and how we're existing, and then how we're thriving in our art, you know, like,
Yes.
have I encountered someone that's Caribbean American? You know, it's like always, you're Black or you're white or you're Asian, you know, or you're African American. There's never a direct conversation about like Caribbean and Caribbean living. So like, that's what I appreciate most about this. And that's why I'm so stoked to see everything, you know?
That's good.
I'm pretty much seconding exactly what he said. I'm very tethered to the concept of legacy, and you know, I'm a first generation American. Both of my parents immigrated to the United States in the late 80s. And so for me, it really much is just, you know, an opportunity to just show how much Blackness is not a monolith, you know? Like everyone really sees Black people as like Americans, as like New Yorkers or whatever, Southern people, and then like Africans, specifically Nigerians. I feel like this is America's or the world's scope of Blackness. And there's so many different varieties and versions and makeups. So we need to have that represented. So also just pride, like I'm proud to be Caribbean all day long. You see, here I am with my with my Trini flag. I carry that pretty much everywhere I go. So,
Hey.
you know, we got to make sure that we rep. We show people we're here. As small as the island is, we are impacting the world in very big ways. You know, not just Trinidad, but the Caribbean in total. All those small islands are impacting the world. I need the world to see that we are here and that we are indeed thriving, and we will be here to stay.
That's right.
Yes.
And so how can we follow you? Oh, I'm sorry, Gwen, you want to say something? Go ahead, Gwen.
Yeah, that's okay. I wanted to ask real quickly. I know we're running a little bit close on time for you, but thank you so much for being here. And this has been a fantastic interview and getting into the nooks and crannies of Whirlwind. Aside from that, just with your creativity and all the things, what specific time of your life event or what created this passion for you to get here? What created the passion?
Okay. I want to say it really started in high school.
Okay.
It started from a very specific moment in high school. My first moment was when I had an instructor who I deemed racist. She called me a cotton picker. So I addressed it in class at 17. I addressed the situation and then got reprimanded for it.
Wow.
And then following the next year, Damani and I, we went to the same school. There was a sort of like a situation where I was taken out of a show. And I hate talking about this because it's like, I don't want to make it what it was, but that's what it is. Another girl and I had similar opportunities. She was white, I was Black. Unfortunately, they let this young woman carry on, not chasing the opportunity, but, you know, allowing her to access these opportunities, whereas I was reprimanded and then taken out of the show. The show is, you know, it was kind of like my opportunity to see what I wanted to do with my life in the dance world, but I never got that opportunity. So moving into college, that really kind of created this concept of me having to always fight for my integrity, no matter what happens, that I have to stand up for my integrity. I had to learn that at a very young age. And then in college, I ended up getting involved in social justice and then founded an organization, Millions March NYC, which spurred into a protest where 60,000 people in New York City came out to this thing. It was December 13th, 2014. You can check it out, but that's pretty much the moment. Those moments really led me into being this passionate about my Blackness. It really wasn't until then that I truly, truly realized, damn, I am Black and people are trying to take me the hell out and I will not stand for it.
Right.
You're not taking me out, honey.
What a whirlwind.
Literally
right?
a whirlwind, honey.
What a whirlwind, right?
The lyrics ain't no joke, I tell you.
That's right. Thank you so much for that. Damani?
I'd say the same kind of timeline too, just like recognizing after I left all these institutions that I ended up going back to and giving, that there was this thing, and I was just like, why is there's this X on my back? Like, I have given all of myself. I have myself in such a way because I know I needed this, you know, like I wanted to get out per said hood. I wanted to, you know, make something of myself, even if it didn't pay, as long as like I was committed to something like away from the violence and the terrible things, you know. And still, like, even at my best, which was better than anybody's best, there was something wrong. There was something to nitpick at. There was something to catch me on. And that kind of behavior still walks around me to this day, but it's just like me trying to build resilience against that.
Right.
What truly pivoted me was when I worked on this show called Random Acts of Flyness on HBO that got a Peabody Award. I was a choreographer, and you know, when choreographers or dance folk, first of all, underpaid, and also no respect. They usually like you make the moves and then they shove you in the corner. Usually, like, and I'm not by they I mean like any project. Like dance people are like usually expendable. But this was the first project I worked on where I was taken very seriously. I was trusted. I was given a leadership position. I was able to be myself, and everybody was predominantly Black or of color. It was like a beautiful thing. It didn't feel like work, and I was just like, but we all had the same consistent way of thinking of like what's called radical, which is just a term that sounds crazy, but really truth, and you are owning truth, and you are researching
authentic. Okay.
And, that was for me when I came out of that, and I didn't realize how spoiled I was, because then once I was like, well, I'm not gonna do the concert dance thing anymore. I'm gonna dive more into film, and I want to make my own stuff. And I'm like, I'm collaborating on projects, and I'm like, whoa, like this is crazy. The way you're talking to me is crazy too, but like I have to like get this check, so I can't say nothing. But like the more and more I did that, is more I refer back to that time, and I was just like, wow, I don't even think it was luck. I think I was just truly blessed and given something that I earned, because I put in so much work in other spaces. And they ended up featuring me, and I was just like, wow, like I'm a young Black dance maker who's dabbling in film, and I have a feature on HBO. That's kind of cool. Like I don't know anyone in the concert dance world that can say that,
Right.
That because it's not dance, that it's not important, but they only say that because we know why. But now, thick skin, resilience, and now I'm like one track on committed to truth and authenticity, and whatever that looks like. If that comes out in a lighting project, it's a lighting project. If that comes out, I'm choreographing on Sid and then directing the video for her, i.e. Whirlwind, and that's that. We even actually ended up pulling out a movement film from that called Release afterwards, which was a kind of like flipping on its head and bringing it to a very, very quiet journey. Even though Whirlwind is a journey in itself, but we're changing and relating, and Release was very quiet. And that's so much more satisfying than hitting a step for $2 and then being shit on, it's just like,
right.
So yeah, I credit Terrence Nance and Naima for really pushing me and believing in me. That was the first time someone truly believed in me. That wasn't giving me a grade to be somebody else. It was just like, here's a check for being yourself. And I thought that was, beautiful.
Right, for bringing you to the table.
Yeah.
And how can we follow you? Social media, websites?
I'll go. Yeah. So my website is magnusworks.org. I have all my work that I've worked on from start to now to present. So if you want to check that out, I have a film and then live, 2 categories. And instead of shopping art, I feel like we're taught to shop art. I feel like since life is ever changing, the art needs to change. So you just basically see a whole archive in it and my journey with my art. So you can go to that website, and then I post really cool content, I think, on magnus.works on Instagram. And then my personal is Pompeyus Magnus on Instagram as well. And that's where I do all my marketing for my.
Yeah, all my stuff is my name, Synead, Synead, and the website is Synead.com. That's pretty much how you can find me. You can find me at Synead on everything.
Awesome. Thank you so much, both of you. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you very much for having us.
Very honored to be here and a part of this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Truly.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we want to thank you all for joining us here in this special edition of Music and Movies. For myself, Q Nice, Wynn Mall, and Velo Stewart, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us. And of course, as always, we'll see you around the world.